Hello guys, and welcome to another hangout, pre-recorded again. I promise, if I live long enough, get around to doing another live hangout, but I'm still being shadow banned to death. I've got, since I joined Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called now, I've still got only 4 followers, and my videos are picking up hardly any views at all. I appear to be shadow banned on BitChute now, if you could credit that. I must be more dangerous than Donald Trump, because they signed him from pillar to post, but me, I get the silent treatment. That's always a sign that you're either a lunatic or you're telling the truth, or maybe both, telling an unpalatable truth. Talking of Donald Trump, he's very much in the news. These scum are trying to destroy him. Well, they've been trying to do that since he became president, and they may well succeed. If they do, they'll destroy America. No doubt about that. But that's another story. He's in the news. Well, he's in the news, always in the news. But Nancy Mace, who is a Republican member of Congress, she took some flack for defending Trump because she was talking to some talking head, and he said, "How can you defend this man who's been convicted of rape when you are a rape victim?" She claims to have been raped, and she said, "Oh, you're shaming me." I'll come back to Trump in a bit, but Nancy Mace, I've managed to dig out an article. I'll put a link below. This is from the Post and Courier. It's an archive version. Post and Courier. This is May the 14th, 2019. It took Nancy Mace 25 years to share she was raped. She never expected this. What did she never expect? It made her fellow Republicans think twice about the abortion bill. First, I should point out Nancy Mace is not the same as Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace was a lawyer who's now she turned she's I suppose you'd call her a YouTube pundit. She's a crime correspondent. Her fiance was murdered when she was young, and she's obviously it's left a mark on her. She gets very emotional at times about serious crimes, as we should. But Nancy Mace says here, she said a story that where is it? It's from Salt to City Cell. Mace said she didn't report it to the police because she was afraid and ashamed about what people would think. She said it was largely why she dropped out of high school at 17. Now, Nancy Mace was born in December 1977, was it? 1977. So this would have been 1993 or 94. She was supposed to have been raped when she was 16 by 2 classmates who held her down. Mace said she was also sexually assaulted when she was 14. After that assault, Mace blamed herself rather than her attacker. What does a sexual assault mean? A kid grabbed her tit. Stupid thing to do. Slap his face. When she was 16, Mace said a friend and classmate pinned her down and assaulted her, even as she yelled no. She told only 2 people about it, her mother and her best friend. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Best friend? Where did this happen? She went to a room release to her, did she? And they raped her. She didn't tell her mother. She told her mother, but her mother didn't tell the police. Any mother worthy of the name mother, any mother worthy of the word mother would report that to the police. Not to the school, not to the Title 9 or whatever it was then. Any mother worthy of the name would report that to the police, or maybe dispense summary justice. But no, I don't believe that crap at all. Either she had a consensual but sordid encounter and rewrote it over the course of a quarter of a century as rape, rewrote it in her tiny mind, or never happened. I don't believe it at all. It's crap. And teenagers do this sort of thing. There was one, Nikki Yavina, a while back in the States. She went with two black dudes. She went into a toilet with them, and well, they were either going to do something sordid or smoke, and she accused them of, I think, oral rape. She's on the timeline, and that Virginia Roberts, the former Virginia Roberts, one of the many false allegations she's made was when she was, I think, 16 in Florida. I haven't put her on the timeline yet, I will do, but there's videos about her. I'll put a link to one of them below. When she was living in Florida, she had a threesome with two, disgusting, with two young friends, and then she claimed she was raped. The police looked into it and they were cleared. So these girls do this sort of sluttish thing all the time. Anyway, that's Nancy Mace. I don't believe it at all. What he was talking about was I think it was George Stephanopoulos. I can't be bothered to look. Well, there's so many of these rubbish things. It was the Eugene Carroll case. Trump was not convicted of rape, right? He well, I mean, it's, and I made a video, there's a short video about it called Away with the Fairies. Again, I'll put that on the timeline. If you don't know, Eugene Carroll made up this claim about her being raped by Trump in Bergdorf Goodman, in the lingerie department. She based that on a 2012 episode of a crime series in which a judge had a fantasy about raping a woman in the same department store, and they went through with it, and she ended up getting murdered. Not by him, apparently. Eugene Carroll is Away with the Fairies, but the witch hunt of Trump's been so outrageous. And I'll just talk of which I'll put this on the screen, this next one. Like the old Chinese proverb says, if you believe everything you read, best not read. Michael Parker, 10 years old, says he was already raped at Mar-a-Lago in 1992. Trump paid his parents a $3 million settlement. Kelly Foyer, 12 years old, alleges she was forced to have intercourse with Donald Trump. Trump Tower in 1999, $1 million settlement. There's loads of them. Do any of these people exist? I can't be bothered to look them up. The last one, Maria Oliveira, 12 years old, her family was paid $16 million to settle allegations of forcible intercourse by Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago in 1993. People read that, but that dumb bitch Jessica Valenti will read that, and she'll, without bothering to do the most basic fact checking, she'll conclude this is all true. I mean, it's such total garbage, and the media tells so many lies, and they show total lack of critical faculty when Donald Trump, or any Conservative politician, anyone who isn't a member of the club, is falsely accused. He's accused. It doesn't have to be a sexual offence. It can be something totally non-sexual. It can be corruption, or just something unpleasant. And the members of their club get a free pass. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about Donald Trump tonight. Right, so look at a few. I say this is a potpourri, a real potpourri, as I used to say when I thought it meant a dish, and it was some sort of metaphor, you know, mixed with carrots and peas and turnips and stuff. So here's one here. This is from India. Supreme Court begins keeping identities of accused anonymous in false rape cases. This is March the 19th. This is from I don't know how you pronounce that, guwahatiplus.com. I'll put the link below. And it's Guwahati The Supreme Court of India has reportedly started anonymising names of accused, publishing judgments where the rape case was disproved. Yeah, that's a very good idea. If you're familiar with these hangouts, or if you've if you've been visited the Force Rape timeline, but especially if you've been on some of these hangouts, you realise that in India, rape means rape, but it means other things as well. It means it can mean something. It can mean seduction, which is something that used to be a thing in the West. It's very complicated, and from a lot of the reports I've seen, don't be deceived by Indian women. They can be, they can be just as duplicitous as white women, sometimes even more so. So don't be deceived by this Oriental or this this little woman act under the thumb of the patriarchs. It's all garbage. Here we've got. Oh, this is hilarious as well. This is definitely not going on the timeline. Not guilty man. Not guilty. No punctuation here. Not guilty man cleared false rape and sexual offences, Isleworth Crown Court, 2024. The case related to an alleged controlling coercive relationship between the defendant and a man 8 years his junior. So this is a faggot accusing another faggot. Multiple charges of causing or inciting a child to engage in sexual activity, 3 of those. 4 rapes, sexual assault, controlling and coercive behaviour. The prosecution case was based on witness testimony, evidence. I wish they punctuate these things properly. The prosecution case was based on witness testimony evidence as well as extensive text messages. The defendant strongly denied the allegations, as he might well do. The defence case was that the allegations were false. The defendant strongly denied all allegations of sexual contact between him and the complainant in any capacity. Aside from to provide a false impression of the defendant and to damage his character, the motivation was unclear. There was possibility that the complainant alleged that he was forced because of rumours about complainant's sexuality in the area he lived. We established that although there were text messages which may have given a certain impression, there was more than one interpretation which could be put on them. The messages highlighted that the defendant was acting as a mentor to the complainant in the absence of a supportive family and a stable living situation. Yeah, so this is I don't know, just can't trust anyone. Can't. Well, I mean, was this guy a faggot? Well, I mean, probably not actually. It may have been. I'm not going to add this to the timeline anyway. It's if I find a main press report about it, but it's I don't know. Where's the physical evidence, eh? If he'd been buggering him, there should have been some sort of evidence. This is legal professionals need gender sensitivity training. Yeah. The Fiji women's rights movement continues to find shocking discriminatory practices against female survivors of rape within the formal criminal justice system. Yada yada yada. Fiji has quite a small population. I actually went to school with a kid from Fiji. He spoke fluent English. That was back in the 1960s and early 70s. Fiji, it has, it appears to have a small population and a large number of sex offences for some reason. A few false ones as well. Excuse me, yawning. Small hours again as usual. So yeah, but I found that and I thought that sounds interesting. I think there might be a false allegation or two in that article. Certainly, and a related one. And another one. This is EU agrees first ever law on violence against women, but rape is not included. Well, rape is a criminal offence everywhere. Okay, so this is just another case of making redundant laws. I mean, it's just why? I mean, it's just ludicrous. It's just pandering to feminist garbage. Here is a report 2 months ago. So the date. This is YouTube. January 4th. Prince Andrew reported to Met Police by anti-monarchy group after Epstein case files were released. One more time. Prince Andrew did nothing wrong. Nothing legally wrong. He may have had sex with a prostitute, perhaps not realising she was a prostitute of legal age in the UK, 17, Sweet Virginia. He may have done that. He may not have. And he showed loyalty to a friend who was convicted of, initially Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of not the most serious of sex offences. It was soliciting a minor for prostitution, however you want to phrase it, grooming. He was paying underage girls to give him massages. I suppose you call them sexual massages. He wasn't convicted of rape. There was one charge. That's all Andrew. I think that was all Andrew knew at the time, and he didn't sever contact with him as he should have done by royal protocol. I think that speaks rather well of him, actually, because, you know, I mean, there are 8 million people. I think 8 million people in this country who have criminal records. A lot of them are a lot more serious than that. It's something like the number of people released from prison every year is well into 6 figures, mostly short sentences. And, you know, the guy was a multi-millionaire, for Christ's sake. So, and it does appear to have gone some way towards making amends. So, and I don't believe any of this stuff about him being a Mossad agent or a CIA asset or whatever. I don't believe any of that. I think it was all smoke and mirrors. And Andrew met up with him again. Well, so what? And it's anti-monarchy. They're just horrible. They're just horrible people. These are horrible people. We've got here yet another smear on Alan Dershowitz. Epstein associate Alan Dershowitz shifts the blame on Hamas. Instead of focusing on his association with Epstein and the mentions of him in the now released dossiers, Dershowitz wants feminists and radicals to know that it's not the worst thing in the world to be a friend of Epstein's Jeffrey Epstein. To be a friend of Epstein's, full stop. Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted paedophile. Well, no, actually. One more time. Paedophile, or paedophile in English, is somebody who has a sexual attraction towards prepubescent girls or boys. Charged with running a massive sex trafficking ring where many government officials... No, he wasn't. That's just garbage. That was an allegation which I believe baseless. And Dershowitz was going off on the October 7th massacre, which I think like 260 people murdered at a music festival. Just that alone, I think that is a little more serious than Epstein. And, you know, as Epstein associate, what does that mean? Well, he was his lawyer, right? He was his lawyer. You might just, and not to forget that Sweet Virginia suddenly realised that, oh, it wasn't Alan. I can't be certain it was him. I can't be certain it was him. I was in such a terrible state at the time. I couldn't. No, garbage. This is a man who was falsely accused, and he was extremely magnanimous in what he said after that legal case ended. Anyway, that's almayadeen.net, which is some sort of Middle East thing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this whole as Dershowitz says, and the Israeli government spokesman said, all the suffering of the Palestinians is down to Hamas, all of it. And if you don't believe that, do some research. Yeah, I would admit I was, I've always been the first to admit I've been conned, and when I heard about those tunnels and the other stuff, no, I mean, if they don't eradicate Hamas, we're all at risk. They have to be purged from the face of the earth like the cancer they are. And this is nothing to do with Islam. This is Islamist fanaticism. There's another one of these lunatic Me Too claims. This is Paula Abdul sues American Idol producer Nigel Lithgow over sexual assault claims. The singer-dancer claims that the producer sexually assaulted her during 2 alleged incidents. And this was when? She's 61 now, he's 74, so it was some time ago. Lithgow shoved Abdul against the wall and grabbed her genitals and breasts, and we shoved his tongue down her throat, according to court documents. Yeah, for sure. This was Abdul's complaint claims that Lithgow sexually assaulted Abdul again in 2014. Yeah. No. Don't believe any of that garbage I've heard. Got an article here from The Guardian. The couch surfing predator. How a group of women were drugged and assaulted, then fought back. This is a genuine rape case, apparently. There are men like this. Unfortunately. What can I say? Without wishing to sound like victim blaming, don't put yourself in these sort of positions. I mean, I'm surprised that these sort of things are allowed, actually, that these there should be at least one woman in the house when women are couch surfing or whatever. He was the one who was couch surfing, was he? Yeah. I mean, well, don't let a man into your home who you don't know. Kate was 20 years old when she stayed at Maglio's home and he assaulted her. I haven't read the article in full. I looked at it the other week, but some of these things can be avoided with just a little thought, a little thought, a little foresight. There's a story of a German backpacker claims to have been raped in Thailand. I don't know if it's a false allegation or a genuine one. I'll have to. Oh yeah, he was. He got 2 years and 8 months. Not much of a sentence, is it? I thought it'd be more for Thailand. Case here from India. Times of India. Bengaluru woman suspects she was raped. Bengaluru woman suspects she was raped. A 40-year-old woman software engineer approached the police Thursday suspecting she might have been raped after she partied at a pub. Yeah, they have pubs in India. The woman in her police complaint said she visited the pub alone. A senior police officer said the woman saying the person who befriended her at the pub might have sexually assaulted her. Yeah, well, I'm surprised that there still seems to be quite a lot of women going out on their own in India. So patriarchal. A woman lieutenant colonel in Jammu and Kashmir has filed a rape case against a colleague and his mother, accusing them of promising marriage. You see, this is having unnatural sex and blackmailing her. In India, rape doesn't necessarily mean rape. So I'm a bit selective about the cases I do publish from India. There are, I mean, it's got a massive population, so there will be quite a lot more rapes in the UK, and a lot of false allegations. At the moment, the police, the Indian police are are looking into some sort of massive extortion ring. Outrage, this is from Australia. This is December last year. Outrages, 8 of 9 men convicted of gang rape, a 15-year-old in Germany received no prison time. I would say that is, yeah, I mean, that's, I wonder what nationality they were. 8 out of 9 young men convicted of gang rape and a heavily intoxicated 15-year-old. Why is a 15-year-old girl getting drunk in Hamburg City Park will not face prison time? The verdict has sparked widespread outrage in Germany. I should hope so. Hamburg Regional Court last week sentenced a 19-year-old to a youth prison sentence of 2 years and 9 months without parole, while youth sentences of 1 to 2 years probation on so-called pre-parole or so-called pre-parole were imposed on 8 men. 8 men. The 10 accused have been charged with raping the girl during a 2.5 hour. Oh, which is sick of it. I mean, I don't know. Is this? So you get injustices both ways here. You have people given horrendous sentences for trivial or even imaginary offences, and then you have things like that. Arab News Pakistan. What's this? Arabnews.com. So, from a report from Pakistan. Oh yes, in Sindh, SINDH, 88% of rape suspects acquitted from January 2021 till present, court told. Sounds like a lot of false allegations to me. Yeah, I mean these women, they want convictions. They want convictions. Which brings me to an official report. Right, this is Operation Soteria. Improving CPS responses to rape complaints and complainants. Final findings from independent academic research, December 2023. Independent, yes. Alice King, Vanessa E. Monroe and Lottie Young Andrada. No relation to another Andrada who she was, she committed suicide. It was one of those music school cases. Yeah, this is a 136-page report, and the word false appears in it only 4 times. But this is quite interesting. This is page 53. In advice 16, which we referred to above, there was no mention of any diagnosis in relation to the victim. The lawyer remarked there were some references that make them think she possibly has mental health problems as well, on top of her multiple drug problems. This was then used to support his assessment that establishing her credibility would be difficult. Meanwhile, in advice 23, the victim had been found by police in a distressed state with forensic evidence uncovered at the scene that appeared to corroborate her account of forced intercourse. The victim was an inpatient at a mental health hospital, and this became the focal point for discussion, especially in relation to reasonable lines of inquiry and third-party material. Though the exact details of her diagnosis and how it impacted on her perception, behaviour and memory were unknown at the time of the EA, the lawyer underscored that a key question in respect of her credibility would be what influence her mental health might have had on her. Depending on the details of her condition, it may well have been appropriate to address this issue, but what was striking was the extent to which the complainant's mental health was presumed to undermine her credibility from the outset, and the priority that afforded to that in a context where there was additional evidence that supported her complaint and allowed for a more suspect-focused strategy. Well, I'm sorry, but people who are not right in the head will have less credibility. I mean, a man who's got 2 or 3 convictions for burglary or just 1 conviction for something fairly trivial will have less credibility than a police officer. You can argue that's unfair, but it's just the way it is. The consequences of such an approach were also apparent in the case discussed In Scrutiny 15, in which the CPS declined to charge a rape reported to have taken place years earlier in the context of a domestically abusive relationship. Yeah, here we go. You said rubbish. In the intervening period, the complainant had been diagnosed with mental health conditions which were exacerbated by alcohol misuse, in brackets, and could manifest in hallucinations. This is always the case with any purportedly delayed report, especially where alcohol is related, is an issue, and or drugs, be they recreational and or prescription and or over the counter. There's confabulation, hallucinations. They're just plain lying. So, but they don't really want to prove. They want convictions, They want convictions, these women. Across the study, we encountered only 4 cases in which the parties had initially met on a dating platform. In one of these, discussed in Scrutiny 3, the complainant alleged that the incident occurred on the parties' first meeting in person in the run-up to the police decision to NFA this case. Multiple references were made to the possibility that the complainant had catfished the suspect, and when he rejected her, falsely reported he had raped and strangled her. There was little to no explanation afforded as to why this possibility had been given such credence. May be influenced by the fact that this case involved a complainant who was older than the average user of online dating platforms, with associated norms around gender, age and sexual promiscuity at play. Later in the same report, moreover, references were made to the improbability of the suspect pinning her down, as the complainant claimed on a spurious basis that she was notably larger than him. Well, it does. There are some big women out there. There's one case, I'm not sure it's on the timeline. This guy was meant to have carried this woman upstairs. She was only about 16 stone, and he was not. I mean, and there's lots of cases in which are improbable. Just because an allegation is improbable doesn't mean it's false, but you've got to look at other evidence. Meanwhile, in case file 24, the parties have met on a dating app approximately 1 month prior to the incident, and engaged in consensual sexual intercourse as well as phone stroke digital sex in the intervening period. Phone sex. The complainant reported having been forcibly orally raped by a suspect who had previously been investigated in relation to a similar complaint by another woman. Despite the lawyer who reviewed the case on the threshold test describing the complainant's ABE interview as detailed and credible, and the police highlighting as strengths in the case the fact that the complainant was a good character, had given an account to disclosure witness which was consistent, reported immediately, and had injuries that would appear to corroborate allegations. Across the update and progress from the local police force, the CPS lawyer noted on the file the case was NFA'd. We do not have sufficient information to be able to account for this decision, but one thing that was clear was that the suspect interview focused considerable attention on whether or not the complainant communicated non-consent, rather than whether the suspect had taken any steps to ascertain it. Well, if she's got her mouth full, it's difficult to get. I mean, just how do they put themselves in these positions, these women? Yeah. Again, I'm not trying to sound victim blame, but for Christ's sake, take some guys as well. They leave themselves open to false allegations. That was Operation Soteria. Even worse than that is Rape Crisis. This is from the Irish Independent, August 6, 2003, page 13. Falling Funds Forces Rape Counselling Clinics into Kitchen by Anne Lucy. My Irish correspondent tells me that a lot of Irish women are bonkers, especially the Dublin, and in this case the Kerry Rape Crisis Centres. 2 rape crisis centres are now so underfunded that one facility has a 3-month waiting list for counselling. Another is forced to see clients in its kitchen because the building is so inadequate. No, it isn't forced. It doesn't have to. I mean, this, as I've said before, I'll put a link to my article. The Rape Crisis Network needs to be shut down. The Rape Crisis Network in the whole world, because if these do any good at all, they, if they do any good at all, the bad they do far outweighs the good. I've actually just recently had a case of the timeline in which a rape crisis counsellor was, see if I can find this. This is quite funny, this one actually. I think she was a married teenager. 9 of those in this database. Oh yeah, June the 14th 2005, in Connecticut, accompanied by a counsellor from the Milford Rape Crisis Centre, married teenager Nicole Rolfe goes to the police and tells them she was raped by a named individual. He was arrested later that day. On June 15th, she returns to the police headquarters to recant. The sex was real but consensual. I haven't put it in the on the timeline, but the full article says that she was pregnant at the time by her husband, hopefully. So yeah, I mean, no, stay away from it. Stay away from these rape crisis. All these advocacy groups. They they cause more trouble than they don't do any good. Well, they may do a little bit of good, but they far outweigh. Race groups are even worse, you know. I mean, so-called racism is worse than it's ever been. You think we're still living in Jim Crow, or I think slavery hadn't been abolished. The way some of these idiots go on. I don't know. Just one more. Another one from India. Karnataka court acquits 7 men accused of raping minor. Says survivor's conduct cast doubts on her story. Well, if she wasn't raped, she's not a survivor, is she? Bar and bench. A session court in Karnataka recently acquitted 7 men accused of raping a minor girl 12 years ago. 12 years ago! Oh my god. Seriously? Subscribe to gain access to this premium article. No thanks, I'll see if I can find it in Newsbank. I might use that, I might use it, and I might put it on the timeline. Good. Okay, that's my, I think it's my second hangout this month, isn't it? I'll put these clips together and knock this out in a day or two. I've been adding cases regularly to the timeline, but I've got a lot of other irons in the fire, so to speak, and my health isn't so great as you probably know. I mean, Goodman died the other week, February the 15th. He was 78. I'm 67. I don't think I'll live that long, so I've got to do what I can while I can. So again, if you've got any cases you want to send me, people do send me cases. They don't always want acknowledgement. Any cases you want to send me, especially in from non-English speaking countries in Europe perhaps, or South America. I've only got very few from South America. I will inspect them, and if they pass my stringent criteria, I will add them to the timeline. In the meantime, look out for the next one, and hopefully at some time in the future, a live hangout.